Greetings, it's Karen Sullivan, and I am pleased to be with you today. I hope that your day is going well. We have sunshine here in St. Louis, and it's very exciting because we haven't seen it. Not only is it sunshiny, but I didn't have to wear a jacket today, so that made it particularly exciting. Karen Sullivan, that is me, and I am a personal trainer. My webpage is lifehealthmore.net, and that's the place where you can go for advanced training. I've been doing this for more than 25 years. And the point of our programs for the month of, I can't remember what month it is, April, sorry, is we're doing exercise and talking about how important it is to exercise because, you know, bathing suit weather is around the corner, but more importantly, your health and fitness is what's at risk, and having strong body, balanced muscles so that the joints are not affected by any kind of pushing and pulling with an imbalance of strength. All of that's important. So we've been discussing different body parts. We did chest, we did back. Today, we're talking about shoulders. Now, why do I do this? Well, as a personal trainer, I found that people are really lacking expert advice. And so I'm trying to offer that to everybody because my intention is that for 2018, I can help as many people as possible, and all the people would be nice to be. I want people to be the very best version of themselves, become the best version so that you can truly love your life because you feel well and you feel terrific and you can get through life. Now, there are several sites. I told you lifehealthmore.net here on Facebook, as well as YouTube. My YouTube channel is Karen Sullivan. So you're welcome to check those places out too, in addition to what I offer here on Facebook. Now, let's talk about the shoulder muscles. And we were talking about chest and we were talking about back, and in the process, and also we talked about arms. And in the process, I was mentioning briefly about how the muscles sort of have this symbiotic relationship. They work with each other. So you need all of them. Everybody needs each other. There's primary motion that those muscles are responsible for, but everything needs to be strengthened. So back in the day when you saw teenage boys in the gym and they were concentrating on only their biceps, well, you have to worry about your triceps and your back. And so it's always, I tell my classes, front to back, side to side. You have to worry about it being totally imbalanced. And one of the ways that I can get you to understand that is, first, let me talk about the different muscles in the shoulder. There's the anterior, the front deltoids, the medial head, which is up here at the top. And then there's in the back, it's the rear delts or posterior, okay? So those three muscles are responsible for movement, pulling the arm out from the body, either in a lateral position or to the front, okay? Now, they also are important to help you be able to reach up on a shelf, and the importance of having a healthy rotator cuff is paramount to everything, okay? Now, when people hear about rotator cuff, oftentimes they think of it as being like a hip joint. So it's like, this is the ball of your hip, and you know how the socket goes around? Okay, that's not the way the rotator cuff is. The rotator cuff is made up of 3 bones and then tendons and ligaments. And the bones are the clavicle, okay? This is way up here. The humerus bone that comes up in the arm, and then the shoulder blade. Okay, and the shoulder blade is sort of looks like a scoop, you know, that it has a narrow end and it has a wide end. So it's the narrow end that is attached closer to the shoulder. Okay, and those bones are responsible for and the tendons associated with it, and then the muscles subsequently are responsible for the movement of the arm. Now, if you can imagine the way this is it's like this is a golf tee. So the humerus comes up like this, and then this complex up here is almost like you have a golf ball sitting on top, okay? We always think that it's sort of enclosed. It's not. And think of that ball being the rotator cuff, the shoulder complex itself, and then the tendons are like rubber bands that come off of that golf ball, okay? Now, when we only work the front deltoids. Okay. We're working the front delts, and those muscles get really, really strong. So what do? The tendons then are pulling on that shoulder complex, and it's almost like that golf ball is going over toward one side. Now, there's not a cup around it. You know, the way a ball sits on a golf tee, it just sort of teeter-totters there, right? And it can easily be knocked off. The same thing with this whole complex is that if everything is strong in one side, it'll pull that ball over. When it pulls the ball over, you can have issues like sometimes grinding bones, and you get little issues with debris in there, for lack of a better word. And then you also have problems where nerves become impinged. Have you ever had an issue where you get tingling in your hands? Usually it's a pinched nerve. Sometimes it's here, sometimes it's up in the neck. It depends on where the strength and where the imbalance is. Okay, so the important thing to do is to make sure you're working all of those muscles. Okay, so those muscles, and the supraspinatus is also another one, teres minor and infraspinatus. But we're not going to get into all of those muscles too, because it's just too much and too klutzy, and you guys wouldn't know if you were working those specific little muscles or not. Okay, so take it from me, those three are the primary muscles in the shoulder. Now, the danger that we have is, as I said, working only one muscle. But the other thing that you need to be worried about is potential for stress and strain from other parts of the body. For example, if you are doing chest exercises, and if you're laying flat on your back and you're doing flies, I like to call them hug a tree, and your arms go back and you go back way too far. You're pulling in through the front deltoids, and what's attached to the end of the muscle is ligament. And so then you have to worry about pulling those ligaments, and you can get little micro tears. Ligaments and tendons and cartilage have no blood supply to them. And so henceforth and forevermore, remember, when you hurt a tendon or a ligament, it's going to take a really long time to repair, if it ever will at all, or if it might evidently, look like, okay, we're going to have to do some surgery here. So you really want to be cautious and not worry about doing a great big range of motion on things. If you are a performance athlete, you probably have really good coaching that will help you so that you are working the full extent of the muscle without putting stress on the tendons and the joints. And otherwise, the lay lifter thinks that, well, this is what they do if I need to pitch a ball, or if I need to bowl better, or if I need to hit a golf ball better. But there are limits to what the body is able to do, and you don't have to be act like you are a professional athlete all the time, or a performance athlete. Even college and high school sports, you have to make sure that there's the strength and the balance. So I've gone off the path a little bit more. But what I want to make sure you know is that make sure that you are doing the front deltoids, the medial head, and the posterior. And I teach my class this. I don't think people really understand what I'm saying as far as having to work the muscle and to isolate it. And isolating the muscle in the back is really important to get your body over so that your back is flat and parallel with the floor. And then you can lift the arm up, and you're using only that posterior head, that rear deltoid. Because if you're up at all at an angle, then immediately this medial head kicks in, which is great to work it, but you're not isolating to make that rear deltoid work. So then you're still, it's getting not the total time that, the attention that it needs. Okay, so make sure that you do get your body over so that you can do it. If you're using machines, the machines are set up so that your body will be in the right position. So at this point, recognize your limits. Don't go crazy. When you're increasing weights, I want to make sure you do like 5-pound increments on these small muscles. If you're using dumbbells and they'll be like a 5 to a 7 to a 8, Don't jump all the way to a 10. Give your muscles a chance to catch up with the amount of strength that you have in your body, or I should say the amount of strength you have in your brain, So listen, I hope you come back and see the rest of this series and watch some of the other things that I have on Facebook and on my YouTube channel. Please share this with someone. All you have to do is make a comment and tag somebody in the comments so that you can share it and spread the word. Because as I told you, I'm trying to hit every person in the world in 2018 to help them be the very best version of themselves. Thanks a lot. Have a wonderful weekend and take care.